The alien princess sat in the corner of the cell, her wrists bound with human restraints that hummed with energy. Her long silver hair fell over her shoulders, hiding half her face. But even in chains, she looked like royalty, her back straight, her chin high, her eyes sharp like blades. She was not used to being touched, not used to being caged. The outpost was quiet. Only one human soldier had been assigned to watch her. His name was Daniel. He leaned casually against the door frame, arms crossed, his eyes studying her with calm. Amusement. He had fought her warriors earlier that day. He had seen them fall one by one, but this princess, she had been different. She had fought like she carried the pride of her entire empire. Now she was here, glaring at him as if her stare alone could kill. "Stop staring at me, human," she hissed, her voice soft but dangerous. Daniel smirked. "I can't help it. You're the first alien princess I've ever caught. You don't exactly blend in." Her lips pressed into a thin line. She tried to shift her body away from him, but the chains rattled and reminded her of her weakness. The glow of the cuffs reflected on her pale skin, making her look almost fragile. Daniel stepped closer, slow and deliberate. He could feel the tension in the air, heavy and sharp. He knew she wasn't afraid, not yet. She was angry, insulted. But there was something else under her anger, something she was hiding. "Careful, human," she whispered. "If you touch me, you will not live to tell the tale." He chuckled softly. "Funny. I think I've heard that one before." She raised her chin higher, trying to look untouchable. But her breathing quickened as he crouched down in front of her. His eyes locked onto hers, steady and unblinking. He reached out slowly, letting his hand hover inches from her arm. Her eyes widened. "Don't you dare." Daniel tilted his head, his grin playful. "What's the matter? Scared of a little human hand?" The princess's heart pounded in her chest. No man, not even from her empire, was allowed to touch her. She had been raised as a symbol, a figure of untouchable purity, locked behind ceremony and law. She was meant to be admired, never touched. Yet here was this human, breaking every rule of her world without hesitation. His fingers brushed her skin. Just the lightest touch, nothing more. She screamed. The sound tore through the small room, sharp and unexpected. Daniel froze for a moment, then his smirk returned. That wasn't a scream of pain. It wasn't even fear. It was something raw. Something she hadn't meant to let out. Her cheeks flushed as she turned her face away. Ashamed of her own reaction, Daniel leaned in, his voice low, teasing. "That wasn't a death scream, princess. That was something else. I think you liked it." Silence. She snapped, but her voice trembled. Her chains rattled as she tried to pull back, but she could not hide the truth. Her body had betrayed her. Daniel's grin widened. He moved his hand again, this time brushing his fingers across her shoulder. Her breath caught. She didn't scream. This time, she shivered. "Interesting," he whispered. "A mighty alien princess." Shaking because of one touch from a human. Her eyes burned with fury, but not the same fury as before. This was different. Her pride was cracking, her walls trembling. She wanted to spit at him, curse him, but the words tangled in her throat. Daniel leaned closer, close enough that his breath touched her ear. "Tell me, do you really want me to stop?" The princess's lips parted, but no words came out. She hated this human. Hated his arrogance, his boldness, the way he treated her like any other woman. And yet, no one had ever spoken to her like this. No one had dared to touch her, to defy her. For the first time in her life, she felt alive. Her trust rose and fell rapidly as silence stretched between them. The tension was unbearable, heavy enough to choke. Finally, she whispered, almost too soft to hear, "You will regret this." Daniel chuckled, leaning back just slightly, his eyes never leaving hers. Maybe, but you screamed, and that sound will haunt you more than me. Her jaw tightened. She wanted to deny it, to pretend it hadn't happened. But the heat in her cheeks betrayed her. She pressed her back to the cold wall, trying to steady her breathing. Daniel stood and walked slowly to the door, giving her space at last. But before leaving, he looked over his shoulder with a mischievous grin. "Don't worry, princess. I'm not finished with you yet." That was just the first touch. Her stomach twisted at his words. Fear, anger, curiosity, they all mixed together. Inside her, creating a storm she couldn't control. And deep down, she knew he was right. That was only the beginning. Asterisk the cell was silent after the scream. Too silent. The alien princess sat in the corner, her silver hair falling like a curtain to hide her burning face. She hated the way her body had betrayed her. A scream like that, it wasn't royal, it wasn't proud, it was shameful. And the human had heard it. Daniel leaned lazily against the doorway, arms crossed, as if he had all the time in the galaxy. His grin hadn't faded. If anything, it had grown sharper. "You know," he said casually, "I thought you'd bite me. Or maybe spit acid, but instead, he let the pause stretch. You screamed. Like a girl caught in the dark." Her head snapped up, her golden eyes blazing. "Do not mock me, human." "Oh, I'm not mocking," Daniel replied, stepping forward. "I'm studying that sound you made." "I think I want to hear it again." She stiffened. "Touch me again, and I will end you." He chuckled. "Princess, you're in chains. The only thing you can end right now is your silence." Her jaw clenched, her pride swelling inside her like a shield. Yet her body betrayed her again. Her breathing had grown uneven. Daniel crouched in front of her, closer than before. He tilted his head, his eyes scanning her face with playful curiosity. "Funny thing about you aliens. You act like you're above us, stronger, smarter, superior. But one touch from a human and..." His fingers brushed the air, not quite reaching her. "You lose control. Stop," she hissed, leaning back against the wall. "You're nothing to me. Then why are you shaking?" Her lips pressed tight. She hated how true it was. The chains rattled softly as her hands trembled. Betraying her once again, Daniel smirked, leaning even closer, his voice dropping low. "Maybe your people never touched you. Maybe they were too scared. But me, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of your crown, your titles, or your threats." "You should be," she whispered. He laughed softly. "Oh, I am. Just not N. The way you think." Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" He grinned, whispering near her ear. "You don't scare me. You excite me." The words hit her like a shock. No one had ever spoken to her that way. No one dared. Men bowed too. Her, worshipped her, feared her. This human, he toyed with her. He treated her like a woman, not an idol. Her face flushed. "You are disgusting." Daniel shrugged. "Maybe, but I bet you're curious." Her heart raced, but her lips curled in defiance. "Curious? About a filthy soldier who stinks of blood and sweat?" He leaned back slightly, smirking. "Funny, your eyes don't match your words. They're not disgusted, they're hungry." Her cheeks burned hotter. She wanted to deny it, to slap him, to scream again. But she could only glare, trapped between fury and temptation. Daniel shifted, his hand brushing against her chain as if checking its strength. His fingers accidentally grazed her wrist. She flinched, her breath catching, but this time she didn't scream. Instead, she whispered sharply, "Do not do that." "Why not?" he teased. "You already proved it doesn't hurt." Unless his grin widened. "Unless you're afraid it'll feel too good." Her chest heaved, her body trembling with emotions she didn't understand. She wasn't supposed to feel this way. Not with a human. Not with anyone. She tried to turn away, but Daniel caught her chin gently, forcing her to meet his gaze. His thumb brushed her jaw, slow and deliberate. Her lips parted with a soft gasp. "See," he whispered, "not so scary after all." Her voice was barely a whisper. "You were playing with fire." Daniel smirked, his eyes glinting. "Good. I like fire." For a long moment, they stared at each other. The silence was thick, heavy with something unspoken. Then, in a burst of pride, the princess leaned forward, her lips brushing his ear. Her voice was low, dangerous, trembling with both rage and something else she couldn't name. "You think you can touch me and walk away, human? No, I promise you this. One day I will make you scream louder than I did." Daniel froze for a heartbeat. Then he laughed softly, his grin never leaving. "Careful, princess. That sounds like a challenge. And I never walk away from a challenge." Her heart pounded. She wanted to shove him away, but she didn't. She couldn't. His confidence, his teasing, his refusal to bow it tore down everything she thought she knew about humans. For the first time, she wasn't sure who was truly in control. The cell felt smaller now. The walls seemed closer, the air thicker. The alien princess sat chained, her golden eyes fixed on Daniel. She tried to look calm, but her chest rose and fell too quickly. Every time he came near, her body betrayed her again. Daniel paced slowly, his boots echoing on the metal floor. He wasn't in a rush. He enjoyed watching her fight herself. "Funny," he said, his voice casual. "Your empire sent fleets against us, but it looks like the real battle is happening right here, in this little room." Her glare sharpened. "You think this is a game?" Daniel stopped, leaning closer, his grin sly. "Oh, it is. And you're already playing." Her lips parted, ready to deny it, but his hand moved before she could speak. He reached out, not touching, just hovering his fingers an inch above her skin. Close enough that she could feel the warmth. Close enough to make her shiver. She gasped softly, her body leaning back against the wall. He smirked. "See? You feel it. Even when I don't touch you, that's what makes this fun." Her voice was a whisper, sharp but shaky. "Stop this. Stop." Daniel chuckled. "But you like it. You don't scream anymore. You wait. You wonder if I'll do it again." Her chains rattled as she shifted, her pride clashing with her weakness. "I am not some human toy." He leaned closer, his grin playful, his words a tease. "Could have fooled me." Her cheeks flushed hot, her pride cracking again. She tried to spit back an insult, but all that came out was a shaky breath. Daniel crouched in front of her, his face inches from hers. "You know what I see when I look at you? An enemy," she snapped. He shook his head. "A woman who's been locked in a palace her whole life, untouchable, untouched, so high on her throne she doesn't even know what she's missing." Her heart skipped. No one had ever dared speak to her like that. No one. Daniel's eyes glinted as he leaned closer, his lips near her ear. "I could teach you, but the question is, do you want me to?" Her whole body froze. She wanted to scream, to push him away, to curse him, but the words wouldn't come. Her pride clashed with something deeper, a curiosity she could no longer hide. Finally, she hissed, "You are playing with fire, human." Daniel smirked, whispering back, "Good thing I don't mind getting burned." He slid his hand down, slowly, deliberately, until his fingers rested against her wrist where the chain locked tight. His touch was firm, but not cruel. She felt the strength in his grip, the heat of his skin, the danger of how easily he could control her. Her eyes widened, her breath catching. She wanted to scream again, but the sound wouldn't leave her throat. Daniel studied her face, amused. "No scream this time? Guess you're getting used to me." Her lips trembled. "Never," he chuckled. "Princess, you've already lost the first round. You're not afraid of me anymore. You're afraid of yourself." Her pride roared back, desperate to fight. She leaned forward suddenly, her lips almost brushing his. Her voice was sharp, trembling with both rage and desire. "One more step and I will kill you." Daniel's grin widened. "Then kill me?" The silence that followed was unbearable. Their eyes locked, their breaths mingling. She didn't move. She didn't strike. She couldn't. Her heart thundered in her chest as she realized she didn't want to. Daniel leaned back slightly, still smirking. "Didn't think so." Her cheeks burned, her chains rattling as she pulled away, furious at herself. "Why do you do this?" she whispered. He shrugged, his tone teasing but his eyes serious. "Because you're worth breaking. Not as a prisoner, not as a princess. As a woman." The words sank into her, dangerous and intoxicating. She hated them. She hated him. But she couldn't deny the truth inside them. Daniel stood, straightening, his grin returning. "This is just the start, princess. A little game between us. Let's see how long you last before you beg me to touch you again." Her jaw tightened, her pride swelling in one last defense. "Never." Daniel smirked as he walked toward the door, his voice playful, mocking. "We'll see, I've got time, and you." He glanced back, his eyes burning into hers. "You've already started playing." Her fists clenched, her chains rattled, her whole body trembling. She wanted to scream, to deny, to curse him. But deep inside, she knew he was right. The game had begun, and she had already lost the first move. Asterisk, the night dragged on inside the outpost. Cold light flickered across the metal walls, but inside the cell it felt warmer, heavier, almost suffocating. The alien princess sat in silence, her wrists still bound, but her mind in chaos. She hated herself for replaying that moment again and again. The human's touch, his voice, his grin. She should have spit at him. She should have stayed cold. Instead, she had shivered. She closed her eyes, trying to bury the memory. But when she opened them, he was back. Daniel leaned against the bars, watching her with that same maddening smirk. He looked calm, almost lazy, but his eyes never stopped studying her, like a hunter waiting for his prey to slip. "You didn't sleep," he said softly. Her chin lifted in defiance. "Why would I sleep under the eyes of a beast?" He chuckled. "A beast? That's a new one. I'll take it as a compliment." She glared at him, her golden eyes burning. "Your arrogance disgusts me, does it?" He stepped inside, the door sliding shut behind him. "Because I think I see something else in those pretty eyes." Her chest tightened as he came closer. She wanted to order him back, but the words stuck in her throat. He crouched in front of her again, his face just inches from hers. "Go on," he teased. "Look at me the way you look at your throne. Cold, untouchable, above it all." Her lips trembled, but she forced her glare to stay sharp. Daniel's grin softened to something more dangerous. "You can lie with your words, but not with your eyes." He reached out again, brushing his fingers lightly across her jaw. She flinched, but she didn't scream. Not this time. Her breath caught, her eyes widened, and he smiled. "There it is, the truth." "Stop," she whispered, her voice almost broken. "Stop." He tilted his head. "No, princess. You don't want me to stop. You want me to keep going until you admit it." Her pride roared, her chains rattled as she tried to jerk away. "I will admit nothing." Daniel leaned closer, his lips hovering just beside hers. "Then your eyes will speak for you." Her chest rose sharply. She hated him. She hated the way he stripped her of her walls without even trying. She hated that he saw too much. And yet, he was right. Her eyes betrayed her. They burned not only with anger, but with something she had never dared to feel. "You think you're strong," she whispered, trying to bite back the storm inside. But you're not. You're a fool who doesn't know his place, Daniel grinned. Maybe. Or maybe I'm the only man brave enough to step into your place. Her cheeks flushed hot. How dare you? He leaned back slightly, letting her breathe for a moment. Then he whispered with a smirk, "Careful, princess. If you keep looking at me like that, I might start thinking you like me." Her chains rattled again, her fists tightening. Never. But the word was weak, hollow, trembling. Daniel's smirk widened. Say it with your mouth, but your eyes already betrayed you. For a long moment, silence filled the cell. The only sound was her unsteady breathing. Finally, Daniel stood and walked to the door. But before leaving, he turned, his grin sharper than ever. You can keep lying, princess. But every time I look in your eyes, I'll see the truth. And you'll know I see it. Her chest heaved as he left, her body trembling, her pride cracking deeper than ever. She hated the way his words lingered, the way his touch haunted her skin. But most of all, she hated the truth in her own eyes. The cell door hissed open again. The princess lifted her head slowly, her golden eyes narrowing. She hated herself for waiting, for listening for his footsteps, for expecting him. Yet when Daniel walked in, she felt that same storm rise in her chest. He carried a flask of water. Without a word, he set it down in front of her. She glared at it, then at him. Do you mock me, human? Water in chains like I am some animal? Daniel leaned against the wall, arms crossed, his grin never fading. Animals don't look this proud or this stubborn. Her lips pressed tight. She didn't touch the water. She refused to show weakness. He crouched down again, his voice calm, almost curious. Tell me, princess, why scream the first time I touched you? Why so much fear? I fought soldiers, assassins, even beasts. None of them scream like that. Her jaw clenched. She wanted to stay silent, but his eyes locked onto hers. Steady and sharp, he wasn't asking like a soldier. He was asking like a man who wouldn't stop until he knew. Finally, she whispered, "It is forbiddance." Daniel tilted his head. Forbiddance? She nodded once, her voice low. By royal law, by my people's law. No man may touch the body of the heir, not until marriage. Not until the ceremony is complete. Even a single touch before that is dishonor. Daniel chuckled softly, leaning closer. So that's it. You're not afraid of me. You're afraid of breaking their little rules? Her eyes flashed. They are not little rules. They are sacred. My body is not mine. It belongs to the throne, to my empire. Until the time is chosen, Daniel smirked. And yet, one human touch already broke that wall. Her cheeks flushed hot. Do not twist my words. Oh, I'm not twisting, he teased. I'm just pointing out the truth. You're supposed to be untouchable. But I touched you. And the galaxy didn't explode. Her chest rose sharply. You do not understand. You will never understand. Daniel leaned closer, his grin wicked. Then explain it to me, princess. Show me why one little touch makes you scream like that. Show me why your empire is so terrified of something that feels so natural. She tried to turn away, but his hand shot out, catching her chin gently. He tilted her face back toward him, his thumb brushing her jaw again. Her breath caught. She trembled. That's your wall, he whispered. The one they built around you, the one they told you never to cross. But here's the problem. His voice dropped lower, almost intimate. I'm very good at breaking walls. Her heart raced. She hated his confidence, hated the way he said it like it was already done. Yet part of her believed it. You are nothing but a soldier, she hissed weakly. You cannot break me. Daniel chuckled, leaning close enough that his lips hovered. At her ear, funny, I think I already did. Her chains rattled as she tried to push back, but he caught her wrist lightly. Not with force, just enough to remind her of how easily he could hold her. You could scream again, he whispered. You could order me away, but you won't. You'll sit here, you'll glare at me, and you'll wonder what happens if I don't stop. Her eyes burned, furious and trembling. You twist everything with your tongue, Daniel smirked. I've been told my tongue is dangerous. He paused, grinning wider at her blush. Double meaning, princess, don't faint. Her lips parted in shock, heat rushing to her face. You insolent beast. He laughed, standing up slowly, towering over her. You build walls with your words, but your eyes, your body, they already betrayed you. For a long moment, she said nothing. She wanted to deny it, to hold on to her pride. But deep inside, she knew he was right. Her voice came out low, almost broken. If my people saw me now, they would never forgive. Daniel smirked, stepping back toward the door. Good thing it's just me then. Your secret is safe, for now. Her chest heaved as he left, the door hissing shut behind him. She pressed her forehead against her knees, trembling. For the first time in her life, she admitted the truth not to him, not aloud, but to herself. The walls her empire built around her were cracking, and a single human was the one. Breaking them, the cell door opened with a hiss. The alien princess didn't look up this time. She heard the footsteps, steady and confident, and already knew who it was. Her chest tightened in both anger and anticipation. Daniel stepped inside, closing the door behind him. No grin this time. No lazy posture. His eyes studied her with quiet intensity, as if waiting for something. She raised her chin, meeting his gaze with cold defiance. Come to gloat again, human? He smirked faintly. No, I came to see how long your walls would last. Her heart jumped at the words, but she kept her face still. My walls are stronger than you. Daniel stepped closer, crouching before her once more. His voice dropped low. Then prove it. Because every time I touch you, I see the cracks. Her chains rattled as she shifted, her body tense. She hated the truth in his words. For a moment, silence filled the cell. The air was thick, heavy. Then something changed. The princess leaned forward suddenly, her golden eyes blazing. For the first time, she was the one closing the distance. Her lips hovered dangerously close to his ear, her breath warm against his. Skin. Maybe it is not me who is breaking, she whispered. Maybe it is you. Daniel froze, then laughed softly. You think you can turn this game on me? Her lips curved in the faintest smirk. Perhaps. Or perhaps I only want to see if humans can resist temptation. Or if you are as weak as you pretend to be strong. Daniel's grin returned, sharp and dangerous. Careful, princess. You're playing with fire now. She tilted her head, her voice dripping with mockery. And what will you do if I burn you? His eyes darkened, the playful grin twisting into something hungrier. Enjoy it. Her heart skipped, heat rushing through her body. She didn't expect that answer. She thought he would back away. Instead, he leaned in closer, his forehead brushing hers. The chains between her wrists clinked softly as her hands trembled. She pressed herself forward, testing him, daring him. Her voice lowered to a sultry whisper. Is this how humans treat their prisoners? Or is this how you treat the women you cannot resist? Daniel's grin widened. Depends. Are you asking as a prisoner? Or as a woman? Her breath caught, her cheeks flushing. She wanted to snap back, but his words cut through her pride too cleanly. For the first time, she laughed a soft, bitter laugh. You twist everything with your tongue, human. One day, that tongue will get you killed. He smirked, or worshipped. Her eyes widened at the boldness. He didn't flinch. He didn't bow. He threw the words like a blade straight into her heart. The princess shivered. She should have ended this game. She should have pulled back, but instead, she leaned even closer, her lips brushing against his ear, her voice trembling between. threat and desire. "Touch me again," she whispered, "if you dare." Daniel's grin sharpened. His hand moved slowly, deliberately, brushing against her wrist before sliding up her arm. His fingers pressed into her shoulder, firm and unyielding. She gasped, her body tensing, but this time she didn't scream. She let the sound melt into silence, into trembling breaths that betrayed everything she wanted to hide. Daniel whispered against her ear, his voice steady and low. "You're not breaking, Princess. You're surrendering. And that scares you. More than me." Her heart thundered in her chest. She wanted to deny it, to spit venom, to push him away. But her lips refused to move. Her silence was her betrayal. Daniel pulled back slowly, his eyes burning into hers. There it is. The breaking point. Her golden eyes trembled, her pride collapsing under the weight of his words. She tried to glare, but the heat in her cheeks and the tremble in her body made it clear. He was right. He stood, stepping toward the door, his grin returning. "Sleep well, Princess. Tomorrow, we'll see how much further those walls can fall." Her chest heaved as the door slid shut, leaving her alone with her thoughts. She buried her face in her hands, her chains clinking softly. For the first time, she wasn't sure if she wanted him to stop or if she wanted him to keep going. The night stretched long inside the outpost. The air was heavy, charged with something neither of them wanted to name. The alien princess sat chained, her back pressed against the cold wall, her golden eyes burning with confusion. She had sworn she would never bend, never break. But every touch, every word from the human chipped away at her walls until only raw truth remained. The cell door opened one last time. Daniel stepped in, slower than before, quieter, no grin this time. His eyes were steady, searching hers. He looked less like a soldier and more like something else, a man who had pushed too far, who wasn't sure what would happen next. The princess lifted her chin, trying to find her old fire, but it came out softer, weaker. "Back again, human? Are you not tired of this game?" Daniel crouched in front of her, his voice low. "This isn't a game anymore." Her breath caught. His tone was different, serious, heavy. She swallowed hard, her chains rattling as she shifted. "Then what is it?" He leaned closer, his eyes never leaving hers. "It's the truth. You don't want me to stop. And I'm done pretending I will." Her heart thundered, her pride collapsing under the weight of his words. She wanted to deny it, but her lips wouldn't move. The silence was her answer. Daniel's hand reached out, brushing against her cheek, slow and deliberate. This time she didn't flinch. She leaned into it, her eyes closing for just a heartbeat before snapping open again, burning with shame. You have ruined me," she whispered, her voice trembling. He smirked faintly, but his tone stayed soft. "No, Princess." I said. "You're free." Her chains rattled as her hands shook. "You don't understand. My people would kill me if they knew. They would strip me of my crown, my name, everything I am." Daniel leaned closer, his forehead brushing hers. "Then don't. Think about your people. Think about you, right here, right now." Her breath hitched, her lips parting. For a moment, she wasn't a princess. She wasn't an heir or a symbol or a throne. She was just a woman trembling under a man's touch. His hand slid down, fingers brushing her wrist, then her shoulder, then lingering just enough to make her shiver. And then it happened. She screamed. But it wasn't fear. It wasn't shame. It was release, loud, raw, unrestrained. A sound that echoed through the cell like a confession she could no longer hold back. Daniel froze for only a moment, then his grin returned softer, victorious. "That's the scream I wanted to hear." Her chest heaved, her eyes wide with shock. She had done it again. But this time she didn't hate herself for it. She hated that she didn't hate it. Her lips trembled as she whispered, I hate you, Daniel chuckled, leaning close to her ear. No, you want me. That's worse. Her cheeks flushed deep red. She should have cursed him, struck him, screamed again. Instead, she leaned forward, her forehead pressing against his, her lips trembling as if they might close the final distance, and that was when the door burst open. A blinding light filled the room. Voices shouted in a foreign tongue. The princess's people, soldiers, rescuers. They froze in the doorway, their eyes widening as they saw her chained, trembling, pressed against a human, his hands still on her skin. Daniel didn't move. He didn't flinch. He just looked into her eyes, calm and steady, even as weapons were raised at him. Her chest heaved, her heart racing. This was the moment. Her chance to reclaim her pride, her throne, her honor. She could call him her captor, her violator, her enemy. She could order his execution, erase the shame, pretend none of it happened, but her lips refused to move. Instead, she whispered so softly only he could hear, I don't want them to take me. Daniel's grin returned, sharp and dangerous. Then scream again, princess, but this time, scream my name. Her eyes burned with tears, with fury, with desire. She didn't know what choice she would make. She only knew the truth. Her walls were gone, and the human had done what no one else ever dared. He had touched her, and she would never be the same again. Final cliffhanger ending. Her people arrive to rescue her, but they see her clinging to the human instead of pulling away. Now she must decide, betray him and return to her throne, or betray her empire to stay with him.